If you want to bench 2 times body weight, you clicked on the right video, because I am the national champion of bench press. And at the latest competition, I benched 132.5 kilograms at the body weight of 65.3 kilograms, which is a bit over 2 times body weight. And this journey of benching took me only like 6 months. Because until that point, I was only doing street lifting, stuff like pull-ups, dips, calisthenics, skills, front levers, all of these different things. But then I discovered that I had massive potential on the bench press because I had superhuman pushing strength. So I decided to log in, research a bunch of things, and I ended up benching 2 times body weight. And I went from a bench of 90 kilograms to 132.5 kilograms in the span of around 6 months. If you hadn't been working out for like 4 years already, this journey is not going to be that quick. But I have all of the tips and tricks you need to make this journey a bit faster and maybe even possible, because for some people this journey doesn't take 6 months but a couple of years. The game plan is really simple. The objective of your training, of your bench training, should be to lift as much weight, to produce as much force through your arms as possible for just 1 rep, whilst keeping the size of your muscles as small as possible. So we are going to heavily focus on gaining as much strength without gaining visible excessive muscle, because the more muscle you have, the more weight you have. And these specific training tactics are just to gain strength and not that much muscle, because I didn't put on any muscle, like looks wise, in those 6 months. Let's get straight into it. The first thing that you should do is that you should bench more often. I'm going to go over this really quickly. So if you bench 2 times a week, really hard trainings, like you do just bench, this is really inefficient. I recommend spacing it out. This is the exact same volume, but throughout multiple days. So if you are benching 2 times a week, now you are going to bench 3 times a week. And if you bench 3 times a week like me, now you are going to start benching 4 times a week. Yeah, like I am going to start doing, because I'm preparing for the World Championship for bench press that is going to be in Norway in about 3 months. That's a fun fact. So we are going to create these trainings. We are going to have 4 different bench sessions. And they are going to be sorted in 1 primary session, which is going to be mostly focused on PRs, then 2 secondary sessions, and then 1 tertiary session or primer session. This session is mainly focused on your weaknesses and is not going to be that difficult. So on the primary session, you can hit a PR maybe. So on the first session, well, what you are going to focus on, the first thing that you do when you come into the gym, you are going to do 1 set of 1 rep. So essentially a PR. So you will do a really good warm-up, watch a guide how to warm up for bench press. Then you start loading the plates, and then you prepare for a PR, music is playing, put chalk on your hands, on your back and on your butt like they do in the competitions, and you go down and up, rack. If you are feeling like you could do more, or even if you are not feeling like you could do more, if the last rep doesn't look like this, you are going to grab these guys, the 1.25 kg plate, and load up 1 on each side. After you do that, you are going to try to do it again and have a spotter, obviously. And if you can't press it up, let the spotter help you just a little bit so you can finish it. Then after that, you will write it down in your notes how much weight you hit without the spotter helping you. So let's take, for example, you wrote 100 kilograms. Then you are going to do 3 sets of 10-second holds of 120 to 130% of your 1 rep max. So if you bench 100 kilograms, you're going to load up 125. Let's say, for example, you load up the plates, you have a spotter, he lifts it above you, and then you, with proper posture, you need to get a really good setup, hold it for as long as possible, and that's going to be around 10 seconds, and then you rack it and you repeat this 3 times. Why is this so good? And why am I going to teach you these weird specific tactics, and how are you going to know that they worked so much? Well, when I learned these tactics from a person called Dr. Andy Galpin, he helps like these Olympic athletes to lift more weight whilst keeping their muscle mass low. So he helps them. And the exact same tactics, I applied it to my bench training for a month. And that month, my progress went up by like 7 kilograms. And that's a lot, because usually it only goes up by 2 kilograms, and it went up and up and up once I started doing these things. So I know that it works, and you should put your trust in this. And it makes your shoulders and your wrists, your elbows adapt to that amount of weight, because sometime in the future you are going to be pushing that weight, and it's really, really good for your body to get used to heavier and heavier loads this way. And after that, you are going to do 3 sets of 5 reps of superposed bench press. You go down and you don't sink the bar. You have it just slightly above your chest, and then you press up after 3 seconds, and you are going to do this for 5 reps. That's going to be around 60% of your 1 rep max, or 70%. And after that, you are going to do just one filler exercise, which are going to be like support exercise, you can also call it. We are going to talk about this later in the video. I need to start explaining faster because we are just here of these 2 papers. So yeah, the secondary day is going to be 3 sets of 3 to 4 reps, because it's kind of hard to estimate. You are going to get it why later, of special bench press. This special bench or pull-up or dip technique, it's applicable to every single exercise, and it works by you loading 90% of your 1 rep max onto that bench. It might sound a bit scary. You look like, oh, 4 reps of 90% of my 1 rep max, that's impossible. Yeah, it is. That's why you're going to do it like this. You go under the bench, get into the position, you go down, up, and you rack it. You wait 10 seconds or 5 seconds, you just get away from the rack, shake your hands a bit, and then go again. Down, up, rack. Shake your hands off, take 10 seconds, hit it again, beast. You know what I mean? And you unrack it, go down, go up, rack it again. And then for the 4th rep, you take enough time to press it, because the 3rd one is going to look like this. You rack it, then you shake off your hands a little bit, you wait max 30 seconds. You want it to be like RPE 10. You want to push it really, really hard. You want the last rep to be really, really tough. This is brutal. This is brutal to do this. But essentially you did 4 sets of 1 rep in 1 single set. Hitting 4 sets of 1 rep is really, really tough, actually. Like I do sometimes these workouts when I just do for 1 rep, and it takes a long, long time. That's why doing this decreases the amount of time you spend in the gym. After that, you are going to do dumbbell bench press. You can do incline dumbbell bench press, classic dumbbell bench press, decline dumbbell bench press. On this day, it doesn't matter, you should switch it around. And I usually do 6 sets, not including warm-up sets, which is quite a lot actually. But dumbbell bench press is one of the main support exercises that I do. And you do this for 6 to 12 reps is, I think, the ideal. You can experiment around. So on some days I do 6, on some days I do 10, on some days I do even 12 and stuff like that. It depends on what I didn't do for a longer period of time. After that, do 2 of your favorite support exercises that I'm going to name later that you can choose from. The second secondary day, so this is essentially the 3rd day, is going to be the 3 sets of 3 to 4 reps, the special type of bench again, so the exact same thing. After that, you are going to do the next best support exercise, which is ring dips and weighted ring dips. Including warm-up sets, you should do this for 6 to 10 sets. If you are pretty weak, you should even do like 10 sets for, I think, like 6 to 10 reps. If you are just a beginner and you don't want to add more weight to the exercise, now I do like 6 reps with 50 kilograms, which is quite a lot. You should be also focusing on leveling up this exercise, by the way. Not only your bench, but also the support exercises. You should be aiming to progress every second week or every month. And then after that, do 2 more support exercises. So these 2 days, the third day and the second day, look pretty much the same. Now the tertiary or the primer session, which is the 4th day, which is the day before your PR session, the day when you do 1 set of 1 rep, it is going to be called the primer session. On the primer session, you don't want to get too exhausted, because then after that you have a rest day, and after that you need to hit a PR. So in this day you are going to try to focus on something that you are not good at. And by the way, you should target the filler exercises based on the things you are not that good at. The thing that I'm pretty bad at is pressing up the last part of the bench press. I have a lot of videos where I fail in the last portion of the bench. On that competition, I'm really impressed that that didn't happen, because I was pressing like 2 kilograms above my PR. Pretty impressive actually. And so what I do is that I load up almost my PR and I do 6 reps of just half reps. In a public gym, people will look at you weird like, oh, he's doing half reps, but they don't know that you are the national champion and you know that you need to do this in order to strengthen your triceps at the last part. Also, if you have the exact same problem as me, you can do tricep extensions and stuff like that. So you are going to be mainly focusing on things that you are not that good at. And then you can also experiment, because you want to get your grip wider and wider and wider. On this day, you should do the grip a bit wider, like a centimeter more wide. I started with my grip where the knurling starts. So I have a bar there, that's around this. Now I bench with my ring fingers on the rings. That's around this far apart. So I made a lot of progress, and I add every second week around a centimeter to my grip width. Not right now, I'm planning to add another centimeter to have my middle fingers on the grip rings, which is really, really wide, because I have also really, really short arms, and my arch isn't even that big, it's like this big. So I still have a pretty big movement pattern. I'm not one of the guys that puff their chest so much and have their arms so wide that they just do this. No, that's not like me. And then you should also do a ton of support exercises on this day. And now, how should you overload? You should try to PR on the first primer session every second to every third week, if you can, by 2.5 kilograms. At 2.5 kilograms every single session that you try it, every single primary session on the PR session. We are going to call it a PR session. So at 2.5 kilograms every PR session. Those are the 2 smallest plates on each side. If you have smaller plates in your gym, if you have the 0.5 kilogram plates, like the silver ones, if you have that in your gym, you can load that up. It's really, really good if you try those. Let's quickly talk about my favorite support exercises. I have around 10. So you can pick like 5 of them and then change them around some days and stuff like that. The first one is bar dips. Most people don't do bar dips, but the trajectory, I do them once a week for like only 3 sets, which is quite small, but I do them every single week. I don't change it around. It changes the movement pattern from this to this. And it's pretty good because it gets the different parts of your chest to activate and your triceps and your shoulders, and I really, really like this exercise. The next one is incline and decline dumbbell bench press. I don't like a regular bench press for these types of movements because the dumbbell bench press, it activates more of your stabilizer muscles. The more muscles you have around here, the stronger your socket, like your joint your shoulder joint is held stronger together. Because my brother had an injury because he used to skip his rear and also side delts. His side and rear delts were weak and the front delts was overpowering it. So it was constantly pushing his elbow literally back, and it caused so much pain that on a competition he failed his second and third attempt. He only did the first one because he was in so much pain. So that's why you shouldn't skip your stabilizer muscles, mainly on the shoulder. Then the next one is bench press with resistance bands on the side. That is also when you want to get better at the last portion of the bench press. Camera died, but let's continue. The next thing that we have is static holds. I already talked about this. 3 sets of 10 seconds is optimal. You can even do it until 15 seconds. He also said that that was acceptable, but I think 10 seconds is optimal. The next thing that we are going to talk about is pausing the bench press, but above your chest. So you don't touch your chest, but just slightly above your chest, and you keep it there. Don't move it up or down for around 3 to 5 seconds, and then press up. This is really, really good if your problem is the bottom part of the bench press. Next thing that is really good is tempo bench press, going slowly down, pausing, and then slowly up. So you can see what your elbows and stuff is doing, so they are not like shaking, moving in weird directions, and you can only spot it if you're going really, really slowly. Now, tricep push downs with the rope attachment. I really, really like this because that makes me lock out at the bottom completely. And when I know I can't lock out completely on the rep, I just don't do it at all. My last rep looks like this. It doesn't look like this, because I don't want to enforce doing half reps. I want to lock it out every single time. That's what you should be focusing on doing when your weakness is the lockout. Now, external rotators like this, like you have a resistance band, and then internal rotations. This is really good. You can do it in all sorts of weird directions, like this, like this, like this. There is a ton of variation for this stuff. Now, ring push-ups is my next go-to. You just hang the rings where you want them to be, and around at the width of your regular bench grip, and then you just go down, go up. The regular push-ups go really, really deep because they allow you to go even deeper than you'd go on the bench. And that also reinforces your stabilizer muscles, so you can keep holding it steadily. So I forgot to mention unilateral kettlebell bench press. This is a video from the competition of me warming up. You just grab a kettlebell and do this type of motion. This is really good because you want to enforce your grip strength. You really need to squeeze the kettlebell so it doesn't swing and fall on your face. And also it's pretty hard to control it down and up, so it hits more of your stabilizer muscles again. The first thing that we are going to talk about is diet. And diet is the biggest handbrake for most people. Because if you want to be stepping on the gas pedal really, really hard, having really, really hard trainings, whilst having your handbrake up, which is stuff like your diet and your habits, you're not going to move as fast and you are going to burn out the engine, so burn out yourself and your muscles. And your muscles are going to be really, really unsatisfied if you don't give them the proper nutrition. That's like, I don't know, if the teacher gave you homework and then you bring the homework and she gives you a bad grade anyway, even if you've done the work. This is like your muscles have done the work and now they are waiting for like the good grade, for the reward, and you give them a protein shake and sugary cereal and then McDonald's French fries full of seed oils, and the body looks at it like, what the hell is this? Go fuck yourself. And then you have the biggest muscle ache of your entire life. Because it isn't just about protein. While talking about protein, you should be aiming to get at least 2.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if your body weight is, I don't know, 50 kilograms, you should get at least 150 grams of protein. I personally try to strive for the 200 to 250 grams of protein mark, because if the protein is from meat and stuff like that, it's easier to digest than just protein bars and shit like that. But in this diet section of this video, I also want to talk about common handbrakes like smoking, vaping, junk food, because it's unacceptable to eat junk food if you want to bench 2 times body weight. What do you think? If you want to be a billionaire, you can't afford to get like a poor night's sleep and then don't go work on your business. They're just idiotic. If you think that if you go to the gym, you can get away with eating junk food, Are you fucked in the head? Literally. I was talking to one guy, he was by the way 22 years old, and he was asking me like tips on bench press because he was benching for 6 years, working out for 6 years, and his bench press was as big as mine. And he was like, how can you bench 2 times body weight? I saw a vape in his hand, and he was holding like McDonald's French fries in the other, and I was like, bro, let me tell you some secrets that I never told anybody also on YouTube, and he started really fucking listening. Like extremely, like ears like this. And I told him, you see that vape? Throw it away. And see those fries? Never eat junk food again. His face went from really excited to like bored. Because he knows that. You know the handbrakes that are stopping you. You don't need me to tell you. So if you have a junk food addiction, quit that. Also check the video in the description or in the card over here or over here. That is like the video, the 4 most common handbrakes or 5 that you need to fix in order to make progress in your gym. The next thing is that you need to drink at least 4 liters of high quality water per day. What means high quality water? It means no tap water. Because tap water in most states is kind of poisonous. You should get a filter and do more research about these things. The next thing is having animal-based diet. So you shouldn't try to eat your protein in protein shakes, sugary cereal, all of these different things, protein bars, shit like that. You should try to eat your proteins from bioavailable sources. What does mean bioavailable? It is a term for proteins that are way easier to digest. Eating a protein bar with soy protein and stuff like that is really hard to digest. Your body isn't designed for it. From when do we have soy protein? From when? But from when do we have meat? Protein from meat? From the start of humanity. That's why you need to eat as much meat as possible, eggs, milk, cheese, all of these different things. Testosterone is the biggest variable in working out. The time when I started focusing on increasing my testosterone, my motivation to work out skyrocketed, my progress, my male aggression to go out, lift more weight, dominate my competition, every single thing like that went up. I don't have enough time to go into testosterone in depth, so check the second video in the description or the video in the card on the screen right now, because that's the full simplified guide of testosterone, of everything single thing that I learned in 3 years of researching about it and like 2 years of implementing all of the things and testing what works and what doesn't. Now let's quickly finish it with recovery. Recovery is also a really important step because recovery also ties into your diet. You need to fuel your body with the things you need to recover your muscles properly. I recorded 2 videos about recovery because it's really important. Supplements, habits, training habits, all these different things are explained in those 2 videos. So check it out, bro. If you manage to stick to this part of the video is like half an hour long. I can guarantee you that you will be benching 2 times body weight in no time, because this was the full guide to bench 2 times body weight really quickly and easily. If you like this video, make sure to like, and if you want personalized help with your bench, with your calisthenics, with everything, and make your progress 10 times as fast than all of your competition, check the link in the description that says make progress 10 times faster or take your journey to the next level with my coaching. Click on that, book a call, sign up, whatever. Bye.